You know, I've been a Canon shooter for my whole life, ever since I picked up a camera. And it's just because it's reliable. When you're out here, you don't want to have to fight your equipment. You want your equipment to work for you. I have to admit, for the last 10 years or so, I've been searching for that perfect lens for my purposes. I do everything from YouTube videos in my backyard about barbecue to filming videos while I'm hiking the peaks of mountains to static videos, you know, right in my office. But I also take a lot of photographs. You know, I've been a photographer for a while now, and scenes like this, I just love capturing, you know, the beauty of nature. And what I've learned is that although gear isn't everything, man, gear is really important. When Canon announced the EOS R system, I'm going to be honest with you, the original R, I was a little bit let down. I was looking for something that was that hybrid camera I've been waiting for, something that was really good at video and photo as well. But when they released the R5, man, I signed up as fast as I could, because it was the first new age camera from Canon that was really going to be good at both photography and videography. I knew there were very few lenses available, but Canon has always been known for making great glass. The first lens that I purchased was the RF 15 to 35 f2.8. And the reason for that was I knew I could capture wide landscape scenes with my photography, but I knew it was going to be wide enough for videos kind of like this. You know, typically a little bit of a wider lens is better for video purposes, and if I was going to get one lens, I wanted it to try to serve both purposes. I'm usually using longer focal ranges than 35 when it comes to photography, and so I was immediately limited by the lens that I purchased. I went ahead and used several lenses after that and tried out some lenses. I purchased some lenses. And, you know, I've been very happy with the quality of them all, but there's never been that one lens that really nailed both purposes of photography and videography. And then one evening I was just looking on B&H's website, and I noticed the 24 to 105 f4. And I got to asking myself, like, why haven't I been interested in this lens prior to now? And I think it was because of the f4 is why I never really took a chance on the 24 to 105. However, it is an L series lens, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I said, I'm gonna try it out, see how it goes. And I gotta tell you, my first impressions when I got it in the mail, once I got it out of the box, I was happy. I was, okay, all right, the weight, the size, you know, this could definitely work. At 3.3 inches in diameter and 4.2 inches in length, I knew this 1.5 pound lens absolutely had a lot of potential. The 9-blade circular aperture allows you to get a nice smooth bokeh effect. The lens is also the first to feature Canon's new Nano USM autofocus technology, and it works really well. It helps ensure fast and silent focus with no problems. When I was still using Canon's EF system, my favorite lens was the 70 to 200 f2.8. I grabbed so many good photos with that lens, and so I think my primary focal range, if I had to pick one, and it's just for photography, it would be that 70 to 200, because I can really get a lot of the stuff that I'm looking for in my landscape photography with that focal range. However, with video, that's not the best focal range. So you need a lens that can kind of specialize in both in order to only carry one lens. And doing a lot of hiking and backpacking and, you know, carrying my gear around on my back, it's really important to be able to condense my gear and get the lightest weight gear I possibly can. When I'm planning for a hiking trip, I'm measuring things down to the ounce a lot of times. When you start doing that, it's a big deal. Even a 1.5 pound lens like this one, it'll make you think twice, like, do I really need to do this, or can I pull off a GoPro? And a lot of times that's what I battle with. Can I get away with a GoPro on this trip, or do I need to make sure I take, you know, my R5 and an appropriate lens? And I'd love to be able to take the R5 with an RF lens everywhere I went. You just can't carry that kind of weight around if you're doing a 14-mile hike going up 3,000 feet to the peak of a mountain. Outside of the stunning detail and colors that the lens will pick up, the durability, build quality, and weather sealing are typical of Canon standards. All metal construction, weather sealed, dust resistant, and it'll hold up under the toughest conditions. The nanotechnology Canon included in the lens is absolutely instant. The autofocus works exactly as you would expect it to, being a Canon product. It's absolutely flawless, fast, and silent. When you combine the 5 stops of image stabilization the lens offers with the Canon EOS R system's in-body stabilization, you can get some absolutely incredibly smooth handheld shots. Canon's new control ring on the RF lenses allows you to set that ring for all kinds of different settings that may be useful for you. Personally, I use the dials for my exposure, but I use the control ring on the end of the lens for exposure compensation. Another feature I like on the 24-105 is the fact that the filter size is 77mm and it matches many of the other RF lenses. That simple little thing can save you a lot of money in filters and save you a lot of frustration. I think the absolute best thing about this lens is the versatility that's created by the long focal range. That 24-105, it gives you such a different perspective, but it opens up so many options, and that's irregardless whether you're doing photography or you're doing videography. To have that kind of quality all in one lens for both photo and video is simply amazing. By far the best RF lens I've ever used and I'm fortunate enough to own is the RF 28-70 f2. Since I had it with me, I figured it was a perfect time to do a little pixel peeping, so let's look at how the two compare. As you can see, the 24-105 keeps up with the 28-70. You can tell the differences, and you can see that the 28-70 does outperform it, but it's also twice the money and it's much heavier. If I had to critique this lens, I'd say Canon needs to keep pushing for smaller and lighter lenses. That's really the only critique I could give you though. I'd also mention this lens is $1,300. However, if you compare it to other Canon L lenses, you're getting a lot of value here. This is definitely my favorite lens on the RF system, or at all, to be honest with you. This 24-105 is a magical lens, and it's allowing me to really just keep this lens strapped to the camera almost all the time. Hope you guys have an awesome week, and I'll see you on the next video.